Do you struggle with finding leads? How about negotiating with sellers, just getting in contact with them? This is Jay Mora with Mora Home Solutions, and I'm currently here with Nick. And Nick, you are doing some huge things out there, brother.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you, dude. I'm just a guy who's trying to get the job done.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to have you on my podcast here today, brother. And Nick, you do a lot of things. And one thing that you do very well is sourcing deals, sourcing opportunities for real estate investors, whether you're looking for land leads, house leads, you name it. I think you do it all.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. And we even do other industries, but real estate is definitely 95% of our business. No doubt about it.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about when you started and the progression from the beginning of Nicholas Nick's business at leadminingpros.com.
Yeah, no, I sure will. A lot of people call me up and they go, "So, are you an investor?" And I'm like, "Nope, never have been." And they're like, "Man, that's weird, dude. Like, how did you get this?" And I think what I have is better than an investor. And the reason why is I was a restaurant manager for 13 years. I'll skip that whole story, but I didn't know anything about real estate. I thought real estate was a place you lived only. Right. I think we all did until a certain age, right? It's like we don't know these things. Oh, that's a business? Oh, you can buy and sell those like t-shirts? Like that's weird, right? Like I didn't know you could do that. But where I got my education was I got hired on after I left the restaurant industry as an event coordinator for a real estate education company that taught people how to wholesale. Okay. That company was called Clever Investor. You guys might know Cody Sperber. They're still around
Oh,
till
yeah.
very thankful for them whenever they existed. I don't think they do coaching anymore, but they do some other stuff. But you may have heard of them. So when I worked there, all I did was throw their events. That's it. And I don't know what the hell events I was throwing. All right, Nick, we got to print these pieces of paper. We got these people coming in. We got these other people coaching. Coaching? I thought coaching just existed in a sport. What are we again? I've been running restaurants I've been flipping burgers, not flipping houses, right? What I remember first 3 months, I had no idea what we did. I didn't even know what we did. I was like, what do we do? And the way I put it together was we sold mentorship to people wanting to start a real estate investing business that specialized in wholesaling. And again, I didn't know what mentorship was. I was like, we sell someone's brain to somebody else, and then in the hopes that they learn a new skill. Like it was so new to me. Like I've never thought like that before. I was there. I threw all their events. So this company had 6 live events a year, and I ended up throwing all of them. They were direct mail events. Okay. So everyone shows up, they all pay a piece for direct mail. They show up, we do the mailing for them at a discount, and then we would give them the hot leads to work at the event. Okay. That's how the whole thing started. So I threw about 15 of those in a 2-year period. Over this 2-year period, I got 3 promotions, and I went from event coordinator to office manager to director of student services. I actually became an executive that oversaw the departments I was running, and it was really cool. Now, this is where the real magic started to happen. So the reason why I say my experience is a little bit better than being an investor myself is I was an executive over 700 investors. So I got to hear 700 people's problems, 700 people's wins, 700 people's experiences. If I was just an investor myself, I'd only have one experience, my own. And so when I was doing this, it was really cool for me. I got to see all of the issues. So first issue, direct mail cost, right? Through the roof. I always say the average direct mail lead is $300 to $600. And that's expensive if you're new, okay? If you're new, that's super expensive, right? You don't, even if you have the money, no one has $600 per lesson they learn. Hey, is this Bill? No, click. Oh my God, I said the name wrong. $600 gone, right? It's a lot to lose, right?
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I learned. Direct mail cost was up. The second thing I learned was that tying together a bunch of systems isn't a lot of people's strong suits. It's not as easy as it looks to hire employees and get them mobilized and make sure they're doing a great job. It's actually easier to hire them and give them a script. It's not easy to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and then developing that, right? So we learned all this stuff. So I ended up fixing a lot of these issues. and I fixed them for the company because I was an executive. I'm like, we have to fix this. So that direct mail event that they threw within 3 months became a cold calling only event, right? Students were complaining that they had to pay for the direct mail before they showed up just to get a maybe. And I was like, well, what's free? What's free? And then it hits me. This is free. We're already paying Verizon or AT&T. I literally taught everyone to dial by hand. There was no dialers. You don't have the money, dial by hand. So that was really the start of my experience. Then when that job came to an end, I've already seen this work. I saw at least 2 people close deals in every event that we threw. So I knew that it worked. And when I went home to work from home, that's what I did for them. I transitioned to work from home. I spent all my free time cold calling. And then I started getting leads like crazy. I said, well, I better start cold calling. I got to change my life too, man. This career is only paying me 75 G's a year. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not set. Just because you're an executive doesn't mean you're killing it. Okay. It's just a title, so I start cold calling. And then what my deal was, I was cold calling live on Facebook every day, every
That
day.
takes guts
Well,
on your live streaming your calls.
I was, but the way I work, and it does take guts, but the way I work is if I didn't do that, I knew I wouldn't make the calls.
Right.
So I made a
Exactly.
commitment every day. I'm going to be on for 1 hour a day. I actually called for 5 hours a day. I just went live for 1, and it was awesome. Well, at the end of 3 months, I was cold calling for my own leads, trying to be a real estate investor. I had 4 people call me up and go, hey, man, I see you're cold calling. Do you think you could call for me? Do you think you could call for me? Yeah, I can call for you, $200 a week and 10% of the deal. That was the first deal I made with everyone. $200 a week and 10% of the deal. Okay. And I'm getting like 4 clients like that. We closed 3 deals together. It was very cool. But as more people started coming on, I dropped the 10%, because it becomes an integrity issue. I'm not really going to call you and say, hey, how'd those leads go? I'm not going to follow up with everybody. So I just started doing it for $200 a week for like 500 dials at the time. And little did I know back then, that was 8 years ago, that was the start of my journey. Now we do about $40,000 a week in sales. So if you think about how many orders of $200 that is every week, that's how much we've grown. And it's all organic word of mouth traffic, the same way that you found me, just by someone else referring you and you coming over here. It's the same way. So I've accidentally, organically created this, I call it my personal Netflix account, because like Netflix, you pay every week. No one worries about it. We keep going. And that's exactly how for me now, we have a loyal customer base. They aren't going anywhere. It's only growing. It's not shrinking. And everyone's very, very happy.
Yeah, and tell you what, and yeah, direct mail, yes, it's very expensive, but cold calling comes with its own challenges. Talk
Yes.
about that because people
Yes.
are terrified. This is a cactus, a prickly cactus that they're terrified of.
Yeah.
So talk about those challenges and how you're helping investors overcome that by using your service.
Yes. And you're right. I always say that direct mail, they both have their pros and cons. Direct mail, the best thing is they're either yes or go F yourself,
Yep.
right? That's beautiful. They are easier leads when they are leads. And that's the perk of direct mail. So as soon as we get the experience, I do recommend running direct mail campaigns. And then the cold calling, the problem with cold calling is anxiety, right? Anticipation. Oh, I got to make this call. Oh, I got to do this thing. I got to call them back. I call direct mail like hand to hand. Excuse me. Cold calling's like hand to hand combat.
Right.
Okay. Like they're like rebuttal. You're like, get out of here. They're like objection, get out of here. Right. Like you're constantly going back and forth. And the good news is what I tell my clients is release the pressure of the result and just get comfortable having the conversations. The real reason why I started with cold calling is because I was uncomfortable with the conversation. And I was like, well, how do I get comfortable with the conversation? I'll have more of them, right? That's kind of what I knew. So some of the big things that we do is we do everything. We pull the list for you. So you don't have to worry, which list pulling software is the best? You don't have to worry about that. We take care of that. We use Core Logic, which is one of the best out there for houses. And then we use Data Tree for land. So no matter what, you're getting the best of the best. We're pulling it for you. It's included in the pricing. So you know, who's got the best price? How much is this? You don't have to worry about it. Then we skip trace it for you. So we get a phone number for you for that person. We have a proven accuracy rate of over 80% on all of our phone numbers. And we could show that to you on your individual campaign. Every campaign we run, we track how many people answered, how many told us wrong number, what was the accuracy rate. So we track all that. Then we put American cold callers on the phone for you. Now we're the only one out there that uses real Americans. And I always stress that. This isn't expatriates. This isn't American born. This isn't American raised. This is guaranteed to be living on United States soil. That's every one of my employees that cold call. So you get real Americans, and that makes a huge difference nowadays. I think everyone watching this, I guarantee within the last 5 days, you've gotten 1 scam phone call and 3 social media scam messages. And this is the American difference. We are on so high alert. Other countries want pieces of us so bad because our dollar's worth so much compared to their currency. Even if they scammed $10 from us, it's like making $1,000 where they're from, right?
Yeah.
And so they're coming at us left and right. And the big gifts American gives is the people they feel comfortable, right? Oh, they can tell there's no confusion. And to be fair, it's not the accent. The accent, it's not what it's. The foreign person, here's the problem. They know how the word should sound when it comes out of their mouth, but they have no idea what the fuck they just said, okay? They can read the script and make it sound good, but they can't go back and forth. And don't believe me, say HVAC to a Filipino. They have no one even has air conditioning over there. They don't know what HVAC is. And if they did, those wouldn't be the initials because those are the American initials. Right. So if anyone says HVAC to your foreign caller, you're going to lose them. But what? What is that? And that's a small example on the nuanced differences of the American versus the foreign. So those are one of the big differences too. So after we call everyone with the professional Americans, we then text message everybody too. So everyone gets everything. So people go, so when do you call and when do you do? No, we don't. It's not a sequence. Everything is happening to everybody. And you should want this. You know why? You know why I created it this way? I actually should create a marketing campaign called this, and you'll probably see it in the next couple of weeks. But I call it No Stone Unturned. Okay? When you hire us, you sleep easy at night and you know that we called everyone 2 to 3 times if they didn't answer, and we texted everyone once. We didn't do this, then wait for a reply, then maybe do that. No, everyone gets everything. So you're sleeping at night going, oh, I know that they thoroughly, that list of 2,000 people, they did it. They did it all. Right. There's nothing, I call it beating the shit out of that list.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we do, because I want you sleeping easy at night. I don't want you thinking I missed something, okay? Yeah. You pay me not to miss anything. So
now, I want to, before I forget this thought, I got a squirrel brain here. You said something very important a second ago, relatability and relationships. So I've been on the other line listening to recordings of VAs that I've hired in the past. Great English, incredible English. You'd think they're American, but the understanding of what the seller is saying on the other line, I noticed that there's a pause and the relatability is not there. There's a total disconnect as far as emotions. Americans to Americans, they know how to connect with each other on a deeper level. And I noticed that it's more of a transactional relationship when it's overseas VAs, even if they have incredible English. It's just the relatability factor and the ability to be able to stroke, nurture, and bond with that potential prospect.
Yeah. So, and what I tell people is the foreign person will read the questions. There's no doubt, but they're so I think that's the word. They're transactional. Yeah. And then we lose rapport with the seller because they might not be transactional. Right? If that person tries to play with them at all and they get transaction back, you just lost massive rapport. But That's what I always say. A foreign person will just read all the questions. The American will have the conversation. They can take it. Oh, did you say you're a buyer? Oh, great. Where do you buy? Tell me more. And when you buy, do you have any that you're currently selling? Oh, like they can adapt, right?
Hmm.
The foreign person, they're like, I read the script, boss. That's what you told me to do. So what I do is I actually compare my Americans to Olympians.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, and the reason why is two things. One is I test all of my Americans. So every week I grade all of them based on how many leads they get versus how many hours they work. Anybody who averages less than one lead per 2 hours is suspended. Okay. And not like you're in trouble. It's, hey, we see your numbers are lower. We're going to give you some training. We give that training 1 week to work. If the training doesn't work, hey, I don't know if something's happening, but your numbers are dropping and we don't want our clients to suffer. So the
Yeah.
same way Olympians don't have anyone at the Olympics who don't meet qualifications, we also don't have employees that don't meet our qualifications. So it's not just like, oh, it's an American, it's a good American. And the other thing I do is whenever I hire a great cold caller, if I've got a bottom performer on the list and they're continuous, they're out. So if I bring in a great person, I'm getting rid of my worst person too. So I've got all these systems in place to make sure that I do have the best callers. Last thing I'll share with this is I have a saying, and that is, I'm not here to make bad cold callers good.
Yeah.
I'm here to make natural cold callers great. So if someone comes in and they stink, I don't just pay them. That's not fair to you. What, you accidentally get Sally, and Sally's my worst employee, and now your campaign stinks. So I'm a huge fan of reputation. So just to let you guys know where my heart is, I actually vet my team in a very professional way. It's not like they're just American and you should be thankful. It's they're American, they're trained, and they have a proven performance statistic associated with them as well.
I love that. And so is this type of service that you provide is like, let's say I'm brand new, never done a deal. I'm very nervous. I don't really understand everything yet. I kind of have a good concept. Will I be a good candidate to work with you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You'll probably even be a better one because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
The average person goes, I'm going to get a VA, $3 an hour. Great. Okay, I'm going to get a script. I found a free one on this website over here.
Mhm.
Awesome, right? So we think this person only costs us $3 an hour. But just so you know, if you want to keep a $3 an hour employee busy for 30 hours a week, you're going to need 15,000 records a month.
Yeah.
Well, 15,000 records pulled and skip traced might be 1,500 bucks. So it's like, yeah, that $3 an hour employee, boy, he just got a big raise. It's not all going to him. So I think what a lot of people don't know is the DIY method is a lot more costly than the hourly rate that the employee shows.
Sometimes when you don't see results, you end up just hiring more VAs. You end up pulling more lists. And when I first started, that's what I was doing. I trained under a mentor that said you got to pull 10,000 records a month. You have to use 3 or 4 different types of softwares,
Right.
triple line, 10-line dialers. And then I noticed that I had to spend money on buying
Phone numbers.
new phone numbers just because
Yep.
I was burning right through them and I was getting spammed. So
Right.
yeah, there's so many different
Nuances.
yeah,
Yeah.
nuances in this business.
Yeah. And so the beauty of when you're new, I manage a lot that you don't even know, right? So each client, we buy 3 phone numbers for local to the area. We have our system automatically rotate those numbers. I have my team trained up with the minimum lead generation levels, right? I have development systems in place, and a new person, they don't really appreciate all that as much because they haven't been there, but they appreciate the results that it yields. A veteran like yourself, even I'm sure some of the things you've heard were probably news to you too, because we've never gone
Yeah.
this deep into my business before, but you're like, oh crap. Like as a veteran, it might have been you tenfold appreciate it. As a newbie, you really appreciate it because you don't have to learn all these lessons the hard way. And you just get these professional results. I had a guy tell me the other day, we did 2,000 dials. He got 15 leads. And he goes, Nick, I've I've had cold callers for 3 years. We've never gotten 15 leads on 2,000 dials before. He said, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? And I was like, and then I explained to him, I explained to you, well, I have a minimum standard for my employees and I make sure they're all trained. And, and over time, we've been in business 8 years. Well, you follow those systems 8 years later, we only have this core group of badass cold callers, and so we shortcut so much of that pain that the new person can really reap the benefits. And, the average downfall of the new person is they want to learn too much. I want to learn the CRM. I want to learn lead gen. I want to learn Dispo. I want to learn closing deals. Look, when was the last time you learned 5 things at the same exact time?
You can't.
You can't. So it's like, hey, look, Nick will get you the lead. I want you to live in contract to close. Okay. Hey, after you make $200,000, if you want, see if Nick will teach you how to build your own in-house system. Or maybe you're making $200,000 and you're only spending $5,000 to do it. So you never want to outsource it, right? But I think wholesalers have this bad habit of in-house. And, I agree. I tell you run into 2 scam companies, you do want to take it in-house. You really do. And I think one of the reasons you wanted to meet with me is how do I get a highly reputable company in front of my audience so they don't have to learn the hard way.
That's right.
I agree. Getting scammed is the worst. And the number one client I deal with is someone who just got burned by whether it's another professional company or another VA who said they were working and they weren't, or whatever it was. And so I'm here to just show, hey, that we do it right. We do everything we say that we're going to do. And then on top of that, I offer all of this support. Right?
Come on, Nick. That doesn't happen. People don't get scammed in this business.
And that goes back to what we were saying. I even had a client call me today. I asked him to make a post about non-buildable lots and how we could sell them.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, this guy pops up and goes, you need a land VA. You need a land VA to do all this for you. And he goes, wait, where do I find one? And he goes, oh, well, I happen to own the company of land VAs right here. And then he's like, it's $1,000 per month. And I told this guy, I said, look, you need this experience yourself. First of all, I don't know who that guy is or what they're selling. I do know that you're so new, you need to learn how to sell the first 5 deals yourself.
Right.
Okay. And I said, even if he was right, you're still not ready because you need that experience. And even he was like skeptical. And that conversation showed me so much grace. Hey, Nick, I'm just out here looking for answers. A guy's in my inbox saying he has answers. Right. And then before you know it, we're out another $3,000 and we're headed nowhere.
You can do this with a W-2 part-time. And if you have a W-2, your learning curve, you got it down to a certain window of time where you need to learn everything in the business. So why not just leave it to somebody who already has done this for the last 8 years, focus on being able to qualify the leads that come in, which you do a lot of that legwork up front. Yeah. So I think that's crucial. And tell me more about your do-it-yourself services. So I don't have to have the dialer for you. I don't have to have, because there's companies that tell you need to have this type of dialer. It has to have 10 lines. You have to have this software. Send me your list. You essentially do it all.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point. When a lot of people, and I'll do a screen share here in a second, but I'll give you guys a little rundown. A lot of people ask me, Nick, what do I need other than you? That's the number one question. I say you need 2 things. You need to manage your leads effectively. I don't care if that's a spreadsheet or a CRM. A lot of my clients, honestly, a lot of the ones that are 60 plus, and I actually do have a lot of those, okay? They print out every lead and put it in a binder and they write notes on they close deals, okay? So the first thing I say is have a system to manage the lead. You don't want to lose your leads. And the second thing is have a great attitude.
Right.
That is all anybody needs. We cover the dialer. We cover the scripts. We cover the training. We cover the development. Every Friday, I send you all of your KPIs that we produce. Like we did 1,000 dials and 150 people answered and 6 became a lead. I'll send that to you in an email. And in that email, you can book a one-on-one call with me directly on Zoom, where I actually break down everything that happened on your campaign. And so and that's no extra cost. It's like free one-on-one consulting included with every package. And so you get all of this support too. So the other perk of hiring us is with that one-on-one, you get the knowledge as if you did build it yourself without the stress of building it yourself. Like I'll
Right.
explain to you what the national average is. I'll explain to you what your average is in comparison to the national. So you get this full breakdown and you walk away feeling like you did build a team, like you did learn something. It's not just like, hey, Nick, here you go. Do we have any deals yet? It's not that at all. It's tell me what happened. And then how can we do it better? Like I'm right there with my clients. And I think that's probably why we're going so viral, is because I'm literally shoulder to shoulder with every client, because I don't have, another great point is I don't have contracts. I don't have commitments. I don't have setup fees. So that may sound like a benefit to you, and it is, but that really forces me to make sure you're happy.
Yeah.
Okay. If I had you on a 6-month contract, hey, Jay's pissed off. Yeah, well, we got him for 5 more months, baby. Okay. It's like, but now, hey, Jay's pissed off. Well, damn, I got to get in there. I got to figure this out. Let's find out what's going on with his campaign. Let's make sure that we did our best and that we can explain everything that happened. So that's the other perk of no contracts, is it keeps me wanting and needing you to be satisfied.
I looked through your entire course content too. You're not just a cold calling service and a do it for you platform. Like you're teaching people how to do this through the different programs you have, whether it's land investing, single family housing, and so much more. I mean, you have your own little mentorship program within
Ecosystem.
your ecosystem. I love that word,
Yeah,
ecosystem.
right. No, and thank you for bringing that up. So when I tell people what we do, here's what I tell them. We pull a list, we skip trace it, we call it with Americans, we text message it. The fifth thing we do, I call it a shitload of amazing customer service. Okay. My cell phone number is actually on the website. So you have my direct connection anytime if you go to leadminingpros.com. That's number one. Number two is I offer free courses that I cover everything A to Z, and they're not long-winded. A lot of people put out a course and they'll have a 45-minute video and 1 minute of nuggets. Okay. My video, if you saw mine, every
Couple
video,
minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah.
5 minutes max. Okay. And it's because it doesn't take long to get the point out. And also my videos, they're named individually. It's not, this is wholesaling. This is acquisitions. This is dispositions. This is how you work with buyers. This is how you work with sellers. So I keep each video short and sweet so you can digest it better. And that's all free. You could actually sign up today. You don't even have to pay for a service. I also offer free group coaching every Tuesday from 2 to 3, where you can jump on, where I have guest speakers. I'll probably actually have you, we talked about this prior, but I'll probably be having you on in a couple of weeks. We have guest speakers come in and then they do a little presentation and a live Q&A. So I've created this ecosystem of success. I should write that down. But I created this ecosystem of success. So you almost can't fail as long as you get leads. Okay. That's the number one thing. As long as you get leads, you almost cannot fail. And then that's why I have the one-on-ones, because if you don't have leads, you bring it up to me. I tell you how we can get leads. Yeah. So here's my website. Here's the pricing page. So if you go to the website, you click pricing at the top, you will see what we offer. Now, if you notice, because we do both, I have it separated in land and houses. Okay. Land is slightly more expensive because we have data tree records. If anyone knows data tree, they charge about 6 to 8 cents per record. If you get it from them, you have to have an annual subscription. It's very pricey. I have a huge deal with them where I pay them like $25,000 a year. So I get it at 4 cents a record. And then what I do is that's all I charge you guys for the record, 4 cents per record. So that's why it's a little bit more expensive. But if you see, the leads are way higher. So I'm going to show you, this is land. I'll cover the King Kong. It's 1530. It generates 20 to 60 or more leads. The most leads we've ever gotten from a King Kong on land were 114. Okay. Wow. And I have that video on my homepage if you want to look at me interviewing that client. But this one works really good. It comes with 2,000 data tree records. Then we skip trace them. After we skip trace them, we imagine 1,500 are coming back with cell phone numbers. Then we're calling those 1,500 3,000 times. So everyone gets called 2 to 3 times each if they do not answer. And then we text message everybody as well. Now, if you notice, I call this managed texting because anyone who replies positively to your text, we continue replying for free for you until they're done communicating. Then so it's not per individual. Oh, well, we sent 1,700 texts. You owe us for 200 texts. No, I do not do that. You pay for a complete package. We do all of the work, and then we just send you the yes leads. Okay. Now, this is 20 to 60 for 1530 for land. Now we're going to go to the houses. This is 1450. Okay, because we're not charging for that data tree records here. Okay, this is 1450, but now that we're in houses, we only average 10 to 28 leads. Okay, and you all probably already know why, but houses is a much different ball game. It's much more saturated. There's a lot more people doing it. And the downside, there's a lot more for people to consider. If you have a piece of land, it's way easy to sell than the one that grandma's living in. Okay, and it's just open. Now, a lot of people say, well, Nick, 10 to 28 is a big range. They're right. Okay, now what the way you can control this for houses is all about market selection. Okay, if you tell me Phoenix, you're gonna get 5. Okay, if you tell me Los Angeles, you're gonna get 5. All right, but if you pick a more suburban area, your numbers start going up. So what I tell people is the difference between 10 and 28 is 10 is your more saturated markets and 28 is your more suburban markets. Okay, so the more suburban you go, the more leads you're going to get from the campaign. This is the same exact campaign, same exact offering. It's just for houses. So when you guys go here, you can see the differences. The last thing I offer is I offer the same thing with texting, no calls. So these packages are list, skip, calls, text. Okay. These other ones, I call it turnkey text messaging. This is list, skip, text. Now, I do recommend this in saturated markets. If you're in a saturated housing market, I would totally do the turnkey texting for houses. If you are in Phoenix or you are in Los Angeles or you are in Houston, I would do the texting only. And the reason why is we've seen texting works regardless if the market is saturated. Now, it won't work as well as a suburban market, of course, but in places like Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Houston, we will get leads, right? Doesn't mean, but one thing we have learned is, I always say saturation shows up in,
Right.
Sometimes if we get leads in Houston, you could be like, Nick, all these leads were yelling at me, right? Well, yeah, because they were texted by 40 other people in the last 7 days too, right? So the downside of even the more saturated market is even when you get leads, they are going to be more aggravated. They are going to be more annoyed because they're being more pursued, right? Like go hit on the hottest chick in the bar. She's over it because everyone else has already shot their shot, right? Because she's like, okay, you too? All right, buddy. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Let me have your spiel, right? But it's like they're just over it. And so anyone that's highly pursued does have a tendency to be a little bit more frustrated. I do want to throw that little nugget in there for you. But I do not recommend calling in super saturated markets for houses specifically. Okay, that's just advice to save you money. That advice does not make me money. Okay, I charge a lot more for calling, but my goal is to get you as many leads as possible for the lowest cost, not just get as much as your money as possible. That's why I give that advice.
Well, this versus cold calling versus direct mail. Let's say I'm looking here. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah.
On your, the the lead gen for the houses to get, let's look at the King Kong, to get 10 to 20 leads with direct mail, I'm most likely spending six to $8,000 in my particular markets.
Yeah.
So the cost of acquisition completely goes down, and more lead volume with these packages. And this is your done for you package.
Yeah, this is all done for you.
Yep.
We include the dialer. We have the texting software. Our employees manage it. You guys just reap the benefits. You just get hot leads sent to you.
Got it. And also with your training, let's say we do get the leads and I'm a new nervous investor trying to just figure it out. You guys also provide the resources. So you're essentially getting coached during the time you're getting it. You're getting coached on how to reply back to the leads that you're getting, which is incredible.
Right. And so just to show you guys some of the courses I have and the names of them. Okay. And you guys can access this right now on the website. I'll just show you real quick. At the top, it says freebies. And then you could click free courses right here and you can sign up immediately. But this course is called Start Here, the onboarding course. The difference between land and houses, how to pick the best markets for land, how to pick the best markets for houses, what exactly we do, what you need to do when a lead comes in, what to do when a seller doesn't answer, what to do, what happens when someone calls us back. I talk about KPIs and my one-on-ones. I talk about how to read the KPIs. I do a whole breakdown for you so you know what you're seeing. I tell you how to approach the land leads. I tell you how to approach leads if you're a realtor and an investor. I tell you how to approach them if you're just an investor. I cover expectations so you know what to expect. I give you a ninja tip on how to make offers and everything. So all this is completely free for you guys. So you know exactly what to say, exactly what to do when they don't answer. This is the other perk of us being in business for 8 years. You don't have to go and make a mistake and then come back to me. And that's why I made this course. Here's what I learned. Clients would come to me, and if they didn't ask me the certain question, they wouldn't get a certain answer. And I felt bad for that. I was like, well, shit. So if everyone doesn't spend an hour on the phone with me, they're not going to get all this ninja advice. So that's why the course got created. I said, you know what, Nick? You need to write down all the gold that you say to clients individually and create a course where everyone can absorb every piece of advice. So, and again, I learned this the hard way. A lot of customers used to hire us 3 years ago, think they knew what they were supposed to do, then come back to me and tell me, and I'd be like, oh no, that's what you did. And I wish they would have done it differently. Now, my clients start off on the right foot every time. And that's exactly why those courses are created.
Wow. Yeah, you're the one-stop shop lead magnet, brother.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. Even I don't understand how amazing we are. You know what? Joe Rogan said this really funny thing on a podcast once. I'm sure everyone knows who he is. But he says, the only thing I don't, he says, I'll never get to experience what Joe Rogan is. He said, because I am Joe Rogan. He said, so I don't know this phenomenon that I say something and everyone goes nuts. Or I don't know. I'm just at dinner with my family. And then people come to me and go, dude, I can't believe what you said. I'm like, hey, I'm at dinner with my family. Leave me the hell alone, right? But it's like, we don't understand sometimes the brilliance of, what we've created. And that's why one of my goals is, every year I make more and more money. So every year I give back more and more. The free courses just started a year ago. Free coaching just started 6 months ago, right? So every time my business grows, I give back more to my customers because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Well, I told you earlier, I'm going to profit $1 million this year. Okay. That's a lot of gratitude in my heart, bro. All right.
Absolutely.
That's a lot. So I'm like, well, how do I make it 2 million next year? Oh, I give away more free shit. That's how I make it. I make sure everyone's happier. So every year I strive for additional ways to satisfy my customers.
I love that, brother. I love what you're doing. You're doing a lot and you're changing people's lives, man. Dude, crushing it.
Thank you, bro.
With that being said, any final words as we wrap up here?
I do have some fun. I say the same thing to every customer. When they say, Nick, is there anything that I should take action and walk away with today? Anything else you got? And my first answer is always make sure you watch the course, because I don't know if what I'm about to say is in the course. The way we talk to ourselves about these leads are extremely important. Okay. And I call it negative lead talk. Okay. There should be no such thing as negative lead talk. It's okay to have the talk up here. Okay. But don't let it come out of here. The same way, just like any relationship, let's use spouses, wives or husbands. If you hate your wife or something about your wife, and every time you bump into someone, you tell them what you hate about your wife, anytime you see your wife, you're going to hate her more.
Right.
You're going to be like, I've been poisoning myself all day long against you. And now the day ends, you come home, you think you're going to relax. I've been talking shit all day. Now I'm frustrated with you.
Right.
Okay. We do that with leads. This lead sucks. They didn't say they wanted 50 cents on the dollar. Yeah. You know what? No lead on the first phone call is going to say 50 cents on the dollar. And if they do, you better move quick as shit. Okay. Because that means they told 3 other people that they're okay with that price.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a rare occasion. We don't need to get discouraged based off of lead notes. What I recommend is we always have a positive attitude when going into it. I had a client say this to me the other day. Nick, if I can just have a good conversation with the lead, there's a chance I'm going to close that deal. And that's the attitude I want. Don't worry about the number. Worry about the attitude.
Yeah.
That's what matters. Are they easy to talk to on the phone? Are they friendly? Are they nice? So focus on that and don't negative self-talk the lead. The very last thing I'll say is I had a client meet with me and he goes, these leads suck. We didn't even call any of them. We didn't even do any of this. And I said, brother, if you were my acquisition manager right now, I'd fire you. And he goes, oh shit, you're right. I'd fire me too if I said that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, well, you just said it to me. I said, does that make it any better? And I said, now, what if your acquisition manager just overheard you say that? Is he ever going to call a lead again? Even you said they suck, Bill. You said it, so why would I waste my time? And that's the other point. When we say it out loud, we're actually telling our team it's okay to be lazy. This lead sucks. Call him, Bill. Come on, baby. I know you know how to convert this bad boy. I know you got the skills, dude. We can't get defeated by these leads. If this was easy, everyone would be doing it and everyone would be rich. So I would recommend changing the perspective. And when you come across something difficult, you go, fuck yeah. As soon as I figure this out for Captain Difficult, it's going to be easy for every person that acts just like him moving forward. Okay.
Yeah, our words are absolutely critical. And the way we say it, the tone, the body language, it could completely change the way your day goes and your month. You start that month negatively, most likely going to end in the same way it started.
No, 100%, 100%. And what taught me this was I used to run restaurants. And at the end of every shift, I was a very detailed restaurant manager. I would sit every employee down and talk about their tip percentage because it was on their final report. When I made $10 in tips, we did $100, 10%, blah, blah, blah. Well, I did this every day for 3 years. Well, I learned very quickly the people that came in with the bad attitude, at the end of the shift, they had the lowest tip percentages. And who makes less? Now, granted, the restaurant does make less too, because this person probably has a bad attitude, but they make less immediately. So I started coaching my team, but like, hey, if you're in a bad mood, come to me. Let's see if I can cheer you up. I can pep talk you for 5 minutes before this shift. If it includes you making more money and feeling better about your life. And I think that that's the exact point. If how we feel will dictate the outcome.
Right.
Period. So if you can choose not to feel negative, you're going to win more often. This is a great call. I feel like
Powerful. These nuggets that you're throwing at me, brother. Thank you for that. Man, dude, this was an incredible podcast.
No, yeah,
Very
this was good.
well. With that being said, you guys, if you need someone who's that one-stop solution to everything that has to do with finding that deal for you, and you just have to worry on bringing that deal from that opportunity to close, Nick's your guy. Go to leanminingpros.com. And Nick, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, honestly, right on that website, there's a link to, I'll pull it up real quick one more time. There's a link to book a call just to show you guys. So here's the website. You can book a call or you can call me right now. Okay. If I don't answer, my answering service will answer and they'll just try to book a call with me. So no matter what, you can also book a call here, and this is live chat. So there's a lot of ways. This live chat will create a text message conversation between us. And if you're just ready to order, you can go ahead and then put your order in as well. And Jay doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to create it for him right after this call. If you use his full name for right now, Jay Mora, no spaces, I will give you $1 off your order, and I will add 10% to whatever you buy.
Wow.
Okay. And even better, I'll allow you guys to use this coupon repeatedly for life. So every time you purchase and you type in Jay Mora, you're going to get a 10% bonus. All right. Jay didn't know that yet. I just sprung that up.
That's crazy.
But and that's all, that's completely reusable. That's not a one-time code. Okay. So I'm going to get that created right when this call ends. So way before this video goes live, I'm sure. And then we'll get to rocking and rolling.
With that being said, let's keep Nick's team busy and allow him to just continue to flourish us with deals.
Amen, brother.
With that being said, if you have any deals in North Carolina, it's as simple as going to morahomesolutions.com. And when you do, working with me is a simple 3-step process. Step number 1, submit your deal. Click on this button here that says buy my property, and we'll work on the underwriting process. So we'll underwrite to see if it's something that works for us or one of our investor partners. And step number 3, I'm your transaction coordinator, and I'm hand-holding that contract to closing. Working with me, you get a quick turnaround time, transparent. I'll let you know if it's something for me or someone in my team. You'll have somebody dedicated to your file, and you just click on this buy my property tab. You're going to get a form depending on your scenario. For my personal buy box, you have all that information on here, whether it's land, single family, small multifamily. Also, check out my testimonials. See what people are saying about me. I've been on multiple podcasts. I've helped multiple people this year, and I think alone this year, 52 people have gotten their first deals from me. So go to morahomesolutions.com. Check me out. Always want to vet your partner. Let's do a deal today. And to book some time with me, let's get on a Zoom call. Just go to itsjaymora.com. You're going to know a little bit more about me, the times that I have available. I also have some disposition checklists. I have a deal analyzer spreadsheet, land investing. I have everything you need to know about how to get started if you're working with agent outreach. Nick, it was a pleasure working with you today, talking to you, and thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Yeah, my pleasure, bro. Thank you for having me, dude. Anytime you want me back, I'll be here.